Hey guys, somebody on YouTube has asked me to make a tutorial for adding an object to a DFF, which I assume is SAMP. They want to add an object to a SAMP skin, so I made a really long version where I explained a whole bunch of stuff, but I just thought that I should make a version that's shorter and easier to process, I guess. Just kind of, I don't know, if you know a lot already about Blender, maybe, or you're experienced in 3ds Max, I think this is gonna be a better tutorial for you. It's just gonna be one video, but this is just gonna be like a quicker version of what I recorded earlier. So let's say this guy wants to add an object to a skin. So like maybe he sees this he sees this skin and he's like, I want to add this balaclava to this skin, right? Something like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add that balaclava to this skin. So I'll just download them both and we go from there. I've actually already downloaded the Macker one. Got it right here on my desktop, and I'm gonna download this one if I can find it, whichever one it is. Having to fight with the Russian download server. Doesn't want me to have it. There we go. Okay. So, let's hope that's the right one. Okay, cool, I got lucky. Alright. So, first things first, if you don't have Blender 2.79a with the GTA Tools plugin installed in it, just go to this video on my YouTube channel. It's like down quite a ways, but it's this one here. Go there and check the description, get Blender 2.9, install GTA Tools into it. Yeah, you don't have to use my startup file if you don't want to, but it might help. So yeah. Oh, look at this guy. He's all blocky. So the way to fix that is just to, first of all, go into edit mode and remove doubles. See, I removed a whole bunch of doubles there, and then just type shade smooth in object mode. That should make him look a lot better. There we go. I like the way that light hits him now. It looks good. So there's that. And then we'll have to import that other guy as well. And all I really care about is, oh, let me remove doubles again. Wow, that's a lot of vertices. Okay, I'm gonna split this off by doing P and separate by selection. So there we go. I got the balaclava now. I can just delete this armature, and you'll want to select, when you do this, you'll want to select delete hierarchy. Oh, my bad. Let me see here. How do I get this at? We got a clear parent, I think. Hit Alt P, clear parent. There we go. So now the mesh is by itself, so I can delete this hierarchy. Everything's good. So now I've got to kind of get it on his head. If you hit G, that's how you do your translations. Numpad 1, Numpad 3, Numpad 7, Numpad 9. You can play with those and it gives you different viewports. different view styles. If you hit numpad 5, it toggles between perspective and orthographic. So, and then if you hit G, you can translate things, and R is to rotate. You can hit G and then you can hit X to rotate or to translate on the X-axis. You can hit GY to translate on the Y-axis, and GZ to translate on the Z-axis. So let's see. Let's get this dude all masked up and cool looking. He kinda looks like a fucking counter-terrorist right now or something. That's pretty good right there. I like that. That's pretty solid. Okay, I'm gonna keep that. So we'll just select the object first, and then the 3D mesh. Make sure you don't select the armature. You'll see the 3D mesh for the character model is parented under the armature. What you want to do is you want to select your object that you're going to attach, hold down shift, and then select the mesh, and then you'll hit Control J to join them. You'll see down here at the bottom left the join command has been ran, so it joins them. So now if you select the mesh and hit tab to go into edit mode, you'll see that this is now part of the mesh for Macker. So that's how that works. And if you click on the armature, you can go into pose mode, and you can actually move the head bone around. You can find it. There we go. It's a head bone. You see the rigging's kind of shit on this balaclava, but that's probably not the fault of the person who made it. It's probably my fault for making it crazy. But if you want to touch up the rigging, you can. You just do that by going to weight paint on the model, and you probably, if you're coming from 3ds Max, you probably want to do like vertex selection, and then you could go here and open up this, and you can start looking ahead, and you could do that and see. If you want to see the vertex weights that are currently applied to a vertex, you can select a vertex, and you'll see right here the vertex weights that are currently applied to it. It's got neck and head, and those are the values. If it's kind of hard to see because it's all muddied by the textures, you can just set it to solid. Set your viewport shading to solid. In this case, I actually find it's easier to see with textures on, oddly. But yeah, while you're doing your weight painting, you can actually hit R and move the head bone around to test stuff live, and any changes that you make will be like reflected automatically. So like, for example, if I gave this 100%, if I gave this vertex 100% neck right now, I'm able to, I'm able to change this value and move the vertex live in any position, so you can see like how the changes you're making reflect in game. So yeah, in this case I'm not gonna worry about it too much because it's a tutorial, but yeah, you can adjust your weight painting as you see fit. Before you export it out, you should, oh, by the way, here's the materials. So like, this is a VK public thing, so there's like tons of fucked up materials on here. Also, we imported multiple models, so it's got like all the materials from all the shit. I'm just gonna find the one for the rag. I think it's this one. Then I'm gonna remove all the others. There we go. Then we're gonna select that, or rather, I guess we'll go into edit mode and hit select, and yeah, there we go. So that is the one. the names of the materials don't matter. The thing that matters is the texture name. So like you'll see this is Rich A. So if you go into TXT, that's Rich A, and we can export it and stick it on the desktop and put it into our TXT for Macker. In this case, when you import them into Blender, it automatically gets the PNGs extracted. So drag this in, compress it, add it, and so our TXT is done. I'm just going to export it now. So before you export your model, obviously, check your materials, but also you'll want to do Control A and apply location, rotation, scale, and maybe do it a couple times if you're insane like me. But to get it out, just hit GTA and export type character. If you ever have any issues importing, you might need to change the type here. So if you're importing the character, do character, vehicle, other, export. In this case, we're exporting a character, so we'll just do that. Desktop, make a new folder, call it tutorial skin, just call it macker.dff. Drag this here. So there's our macker.dff, sorry. And then this is our TXT with the bandana inside of it. So all that should be sorted, and we can go into here. I'll replace this from the other tutorial, but I'll just throw that in there and then launch into a server and make sure that it works. Any old server will do. I'm gonna join the same one I joined earlier. I don't know about you, but that looked pretty good. I can't move, hold on. Hello? What the fuck? Okay. That was strange. I guess I'll just join literally any other server. There's not many anymore though, to be honest with you. It's like they're going away. Especially the English servers, they're like all gone. There's no English roleplay servers anymore. It kinda sucks. Yeah, here we go. I have no idea what those sunglasses are. I have no idea what those sunglasses are. Bro, what? There we go, okay. Yeah, so there we go. It was just some weird server shit, but as you can see, we attached the object to the skin and it's rigged on there and it works. So, sometimes, what happens whenever you take a object off of another skin, it still has its weight information on it, so that's why we didn't have to like re-rig this mask for this head, because it was already weight painted from the previous skin. It just kept all its weight information and attached to this one. Jesus, that's loud. It kept all of its weight information and attached to this one, so we didn't have to do any weights to it. But if you do, it's easy enough. I mean, I'll just show you something quickly. So basically I added this hat to the top of his head, but since my recording messed up and I had GTA over the top of it the entire time, I'm just gonna do it again. I'm just gonna add a second hat on his head. So Let's do that. Let's add a second hat on top of his head. So essentially, this is just I have a DFF in TXD. I have a skin that I've found somewhere on the internet, and I'd like to attach an object to it. You know, I'm going to attach an object to this skin. So first, you'll need an object. Any object. I guess. It really doesn't matter. You can get a hat out of here. This is where I got the hat from. Just take any of these hats. They're all the same. Like hat one. Just extract that, and there's like back clothes. Yeah, there you go. So let's find. Let's put this hat. No, that one's kind of lame. I don't like that one. I want. Which hat do I want? Which hat's like the coolest looking? I'll do this one. I'll do this hat. So, well, that's hard hat one. Who cares? Whatever. It can be a hard hat. It doesn't matter. So we'll import other because we're not doing a vehicle or character. So this is just a hard hat. All right. And then drag it up and kind of fit it to his head as best you can. Yeah, I'm gonna select this with the L. You can hit L and select shit. I'm just gonna select this thing. Oh my god, it's such a mess. I just select it by material. I'll select there. No, okay. And move it out of the way for now. Get my hard hat back here. It's gonna be a pretty funny looking hard hat, but it's okay. I'm down with that. This guy's like stuck. He's having like an identity crisis or something. He's like stuck between being a gangster and working hard. Here we go. Let's stick a hat on top of his hat. Yeah, that's good. That's good right there. Let's stick that right there. And then I'll just give this a texture. Bandana red. Bandana red. Did I spell that right? Let me just copy it. I want to make sure. I want to make sure I spell that right. Like. Bandana red. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. So it looks so stupid. Something like that. Yeah, that's good. Alright. So, select your hard hat. Then select your mesh and hit Control J. And go into, well, here, let's select the armature, go into pose mode, select the head bone. You see it's not rigged, the hard hat we just added. So, we need to click on the mesh, and go to weight paint, click on the vertice, and let's see, close that. Alright, object node, I want to select just the hard hat. So, just like that. And weight paint, and give it 100% weight on the head bone. now it's attached to the head. So visit the head, just like that. So I'll go object mode and select the mesh, hit Control A, apply location, rotation, scale, and export it. Here we go. Then we'll have to add the bandana red texture to the TXT. Yeah, cool. So now, if I launch into that SAMP server again, it should show up, and it should be rigged, so it should have weights and react to /head move and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's looking swag. Yeah, so there you go. That's how you add an object to your character, your model that doesn't have weights already. So you can weight paint it yourself. But yeah, there you go. So I got this comment on one of my videos. This guy would like to know how to add an object to a DFF file, and I'm assuming he wants that for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So to do that, the first thing that you'll need to do is install Blender 2.79a, which you can get right here. Install it right here. And then once you've got it, you'll also need the GTA DFF Tools plugin, which you can find somewhere on my channel. It's been a little while since I've made one of these. So, here is a bunch of stuff actually. You can get a download to Blender, get the GTA Tools download, and a startup file if you want it. So, you want to go right here and download that file, which you might be able to get. I don't know. Save thing as. Okay. So it's a little hard to get, but you can get it. So here it is. You don't actually open up the zip file. Blender will install plugins just from .zip. So you go to your user preferences here, and you go to add-ons, and you install add-on from file, and you'll just go to your desktop or wherever you saved it, and choose it, and then hit install add-on from file. That will give you, here, let me just do it to make sure that everything's okay. I don't want to send you down a rabbit hole. So it installed, and then here you have the GTA tools made by Pawns. So you'll have to enable it, so you'll have to do that, make sure that it's enabled. Then you should be able to see the GTA thing down here. Alright, so continuing on, in Blender you'll use your middle mouse button to pan around the 3D space, the 3D viewport. It's pretty convenient, pretty easy to do, but let's find a skin to edit. Just any skin. This guy looks pretty cool. Let's download him. Alright. So, I'll just copy this onto the desktop here. And if you don't have Magic TXD, let's see, what is this called? Magic TXD, is that what it's called? Yeah, so if you don't have Magic TXD, I recommend getting that. Oh god. Yeah, you can just download it right here, pretty sure. But Magic TXD is pretty good. I wouldn't download it from there, but yeah, here you go. Magic TXD, you can open TXT files. So, hands, face, Scully, sweet. Cool. Let's import this guy. So we hit import DFF here, and we'll import him. And when he comes into the viewport, there's no textures. You don't see any textures because down here at the bottom, you're set to solid. You gotta change that to texture. And then you'll see textures on them. If there's errors, like if you import a model and the textures aren't showing, tough luck. Tough luck. You can fix that, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, so I don't recommend trying to go down that rabbit hole. I'd just pick another skin, personally. But right now, up at the top here, you'll see it says user perspective. If I hit numpad 1, I get a front perspective. If I hit numpad 3, I get a right perspective. And if I hit numpad 7, I get a top perspective. So you can switch between these, and numpad 9 will flip whatever perspective you're at right now. So if I am at a front perspective and I want to see, you know, the back, I'll hit numpad 9 and it'll flip over to the back. And if I want to hit numpad 7, I get a top perspective. What if I want to see his shoes, you know? I'll hit bottom. But you don't have to do it that way. It's just good for, you'll see why later. It's good for lining stuff up and moving things around in the viewport. But another thing, I don't recommend using perspective view very often. Orthographic view is generally much better, especially when you're editing things. Perspective's good to see what a model might look like in game. Like you maybe want to see like what it looks like from a different perspective. There you go, you have a perspective view. But orthographic is what you'll want to be using 99% of the time, and you can get to orthographic view. You toggle it with numpad 5. Hit numpad 5 on your keyboard and toggle it. If you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, you're an idiot, but I won't be mean. You can change the stuff here. I'm sure there's all kinds of different options in 3D view for that. Yeah, go through here and find it if you want and figure it out. Map it to other stuff, but let's get to the main shit. So I want to get a front-facing view of this guy in orthographic mode. I don't want to see him. So here's the dude, and we want to add an object. This guy wants to know how to add an object to him. So this guy. I'm not gonna find the comment right now, I don't care to, but let's just get like an object, I don't know. I'll pull something out of my GTA. Let's use something easy. Let's use a sniper. Let's say we want to attach a sniper to his head or some stupid shit like that. Let's do that. So, sniper.dff. Import that into here. Oh, see. Let's get that error up again. So this model has no, it's not a character model, basically, wrong type of model or unacceptable DFF format. So if you're gonna import a car, you have to change it to vehicle. If you're gonna import a gun or any other object prop, just do other. What? Well, that's unlucky. I guess I can't import the sniper. My bad. I'll just pick something else. Objects. Here we go. Let's do the Guitar Hero controller that I made a while ago. We'll stick a Guitar Hero controller on him. This one shouldn't be cringe because I made it. There we go. So, our Guitar Hero controller, we have it imported now into the 3D space. So, do this and we can, if we hit numpad period, you can focus the camera onto the things that you import or the things that you're selecting. So for example, let's say I've got this way over here and I've got my camera focused on it for some reason and I'm trying to see my model and like rotate around my model. The camera's rotating around this center here, the center of this object, so it's really kind of not awesome. I have to do all kinds of like stupid stuff to see what I want to see. Like if I wanted to see like under this guy's shirt, I'm having to like really manipulate stuff to do it. It's just inefficient, so what you can do is you can select them and click on like a single vertice and then hit numpad period and you'll be focused on it. Now you're rotating the camera around that single vertice. Oh yeah, it's a good thing I did that actually, because here's another thing about the majority of models that you're gonna pull out of, you know, random places. When you import them into Blender, you probably, the first thing you probably want to do is go into edit mode, either by doing that or by hitting tab. You want to go into edit mode and make sure that you're in vertice selection mode and just hit A to select all of the vertices. And then you can come here to tools and just hit remove doubles and you'll see it remove like 3,000 vertices or something. Like 376 vertices, and those are just vertices that are like this. They're redundant vertices. They cause lighting issues and all kinds of other weird shit in GTA. So if your model ever looks like really, if your model's ever having like lighting issues, like there's just a random splotch of like darkness or random splotch of lightness on them, probably the result of this. It causes a lot of other problems too if you're not careful. So generally that's why I say it's a good idea to, as soon as you get a model into your viewport, just remove doubles on it so there's no issues. So we have our Guitar Hero controller and we want to attach it to this guy. We want to attach an object to this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself like a view that's reasonable. So I want to attach to his back, so I'll just get like a view of his back. So I'll hit G, and then now I'm kind of moving it in free space. So with this camera angle, if I hit G and move my mouse to the right, you'll see that it's not only just moved to the right on this axis, but it's also done, you know, a little bit of a y-axis translation as well, which is not really good, and this fucks a lot of noobs up all the time. So what you should do whenever you're translating things generally is you've got two options, and I interchange these constantly, but what you'll want to do is you'll want to get a really good camera angle, like front orthographic, or, you know, like back ortho, top ortho. The thing about these is if I'm in a front orthographic view and I hit G, the only axes that I can move this Guitar Hero controller on are the Z-axis, the blue one, and the X-axis, the red one. I can't move this at all on the Y-axis. So if I get it like let's say for example, I've got this Guitar Hero controller right where I want it on his back. Oops. You know what I just did? I hit Z. And Z makes everything wireframe. So if this happens to you whenever you're working on your model and everything goes wireframe, you can just go down here to the bottom and change it back to texture. So there you go. It's a cool little tip. I'm glad that happened. So yeah, let me get this thing nice and on here, right? Cool. So I got it lined up pretty much how I want it on Y, right? It looks good on Y. I like where it is on Y. So now I'm gonna get this front orthographic view. So I can just hit G. I don't have to hit G X or GZ to define an axis to move it on. I can just hit G and then I'm moving it on the X and Y or X and Z axis at the same time. So there we go. I stuck it in the place I wanted it to be. Let's say I want to rotate it a little bit, maybe. Like maybe I don't want it to be sticking out like that. Let's do a side view like this. And let's hit R. So now I can only rotate on the Y-axis and the Z-axis. You see these? So I'm rotating now. Actually, I'm rotating on the X-axis, I believe. Yeah. So I can only rotate now on the X-axis if I hit R. It's the only axis I can rotate here is on the X-axis if I'm just moving my mouse around. I can't rotate it Z. I can't rotate it Y. So this is also really good for rotations, getting like a camera view set up. So here we go. We'll tilt this back just a little bit, and I'm happy with that. So now I want to add this to the model, right? So I want to go in game, and I want to have this Guitar Hero controller on my back, on my model, all the time in game. So what am I going to do to achieve that? What you're going to have to do here is, first off, you're going to want to select the Guitar Hero controller in object mode, and then hit Control A, and this will bring up an apply menu. You'll want to apply the location, rotation, and the scale. Once you've done all three of those, you're good to go. Your 3D cursor should be here at 0, 0, and you'll do the same thing to the character model just in case. And then grab the object that you want to attach. In this case, it's the Guitar Hero controller. And then grab the character model. And what you'll do here is you'll just hit Control J to join them as one mesh. So now this macro mesh here inside of your armature, parented underneath your armature, this macro mesh here, when you hit tab and go into edit mode, you'll actually see that it's selecting the Guitar Hero controller as well. The Guitar Hero controller is now a part of the mesh that is macro DFF. So, and here's another tip. If you say I want to select the whole head of this guitar, right? I want to select the whole head of this guitar so I can, I don't know, maybe make it shorter. Maybe it's too long for my liking, right? I want my guitar to be like stubby like that, right? So what you do is, if you're in this mode here where you got the texture showing up, what you'll try to do is you'll try to grab it with B, and then you'll try to move it, and you'll see all kinds of problems. Like, that doesn't look right at all. Well, it's because you check here, you can see that if you can't see the vertices that you're trying to select, it won't select them. So to get past this, and this is really useful for head swaps and stuff like that, you'll just hit Z to go into wireframe mode, and then select, and you'll be able to select all the vertices for all the shit in this area. So then whenever you translate it or make changes to it, maybe I just want to scale it up to be bigger, right? Maybe I want it to look silly. I think I'll keep it like that just for the purpose of the hilarity of the tutorial. Why not? So we got a giant guitar now, like that. Maybe it's like doubles as like a mallet or a weapon or something. We've got this thing. Let's make it look more like a weapon. Here we go. You can actually like grip that now, like a weapon. Sick. That looks badass. See? So now what I'm gonna do, when I'm ready, when I'm happy with my mod, right? I'm happy with the way it looks in Blender, and I'm like, alright, I want to get this in game. First thing you want to do is go over here to your materials, and you want to make sure that right here we have matte Macker. Right? The names of these don't matter, actually. It's these that matter. The textures that are inside of each material, those are the things that really matter. So, for example, if I grab matte flying V, I just have this texture for the guitar. If I select that, you'll see that all of these faces, if I go into face select mode, I just click on one, right, there's all these faces on the character model, right? I've got the literal face of the man. I've got the shirt, the faces on his shirt, the faces on his hands, the faces on his sleeves. I want you to take note of something though. If I click on his face, look at what's selected over here. Look at which material is selected. Go to the textures and you'll see that it's a face texture, right? So this face, this mesh right here, this triangle, is assigned to this material, which is assigned this texture. So this texture face correlates to the texture face inside of the TXD. So here's something you can do, right? If you want to see what all these materials are, sometimes you'll open up a DFF and it's got empty materials. It's got a material group that doesn't even have anything assigned to it. So right here, this is for the hands. So it's got the hands in there, that's right, that's how it's supposed to be. Let's say we had like, oh, this is interesting. Check this out. We're missing one of our tries for our hands. So look at that. Maybe I want to fix that, right? Maybe I want to fix that. I'll show you how to fix that. Why not? Select all three of these. Hit F to make a face. And then what you'll do is you'll select the face. And let's see. I gotta select again to find out which one is the hands. So this one is the hands. This material here is the hands. You can check to make sure texture is hands. Yeah, that looks right to me. So I'm gonna select this thing in here. You see this problem I'm having? I'm trying to rotate around it and I can't see it very clearly. Numpad period. I can see it perfectly now. I'm zoomed in on it. It's all my rotations are going around this. So what I'll do here is I'll make sure that I'm selecting this triangle. I will select the hands and I'll hit assign. So now, if I go to click this and hit select, my try there that I created is assigned. So what'll happen is whenever this model gets loaded into the game, this triangle is going to look for this hand's texture to apply to itself. And obviously you can see there's a big white stripe there. We don't want that, so we're gonna UV this thing, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I'm literally just fucking around, so I'm just gonna stick it like right here, kind of like as if it were a fingertip. So there we go. Nobody will ever see this, so it doesn't matter, but here you go. I can have that as my thing. So instead of having a gap, I now have that. I'll do that on the other side as well. Make sure that I'm in vertice selection mode. Click on a vertice, hit numpad period, and then select all three to make my try. All three vertices, and then I hit F. It makes an edge slash face. In this case, it's making a face, a triangular face. Go ahead and play with the UV map again. Just make something random. Just like that, looks fine to me. And I'm gonna make sure that I get into face selection mode, select that face, and make sure that it is assigned to the hands material group. And then I'm gonna double check it by hitting select and seeing that it's there. Alright, so now we have our guitar and we have our guy. They're all one. So let's see, select our material groups. There's our hands. There's our, oh yeah, you may need to hit A between each time you do this. It's like, for example, if I hit select here on this material and then hit select on this material, it's just adding on to the selection. So you could hit deselect, or you could just tap A a couple times until nothing's selected. Select this. So this is for the lower part of the body and the sleeves. This is for the head, the entire head. And this is for some random shit underneath the arms. That's kind of interesting. I feel like if you wanted to optimize this map, you probably wouldn't need that, right? Unless I'm crazy. I guess you do. You don't. You don't need that. You could combine these two into one map if you felt like it, but I don't really feel like it. So, actually, why not? Sure, let's do that. There's no need for that split, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go into object mode, and I'm going to delete that material. Then I'm going to go back into edit mode, and I have those faces selected. I'm going to assign them to the one that shares the same texture here. And then, there we go. So we've lost a material group that we didn't need anymore. If you don't want to confuse yourself, if it's kind of confusing as a beginner to see like Matt, Mac, or 0024, you can just check the texture name, see that it's hands, and then come over here and name it hands. Same thing with all these, you can do this to any of them. I feel like that would probably help you out if you were new and confused. Okay. So, we've attached our Guitar Hero controller, but it isn't rigged right now, or at least I don't think it is. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we give it some type of weight, or weigh it to some kind of bone, so that in game, whenever your character model is running around, it will it'll be attached to the character model and move how you want it to. So like in this instance, we have a guitar. It's probably going to be attached to this bone right here. Whatever bone this is. You can check it by clicking on the armature, highlighting the armature either by clicking on it like this, or by clicking on it up here. Either or, and then going into pose mode, which will allow you to then manipulate the bones themselves to check for weight things. We can see now that the Guitar Hero controller isn't weighted to anything, so that's not really great. So if you used to have this in game, I don't even know if it would work, but it wouldn't move how you'd want it to. I could say that for sure. It wouldn't be attached to your back like you'd want it to be. So we'll fix that by, let's see here, spine 2. Where's spine 1? There it is. I think I'm going to attach it to spine, I think I'm going to attach it to spine 1. Maybe spine 2. I think I'll attach it to spine 2. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to attach it to spine 2. So, we'll select our character model again, our mesh, and we'll go into weight paint mode. And this is kind of confusing, not really super easy to see. Also, here, let me just, if you want to close a window, you can grab it up top here, like this, and just collapse it onto another to get rid of the other one, like that. We'll go over here to our weights, our object data area, and we can see vertex groups. So there's tons of vertex groups. This is a little scary looking, but the one that we're interested in is spine 2. So, and this is kind of fun. If you go into object mode, select the armature and get it into pose mode, and you select the bone that you're weighing to, like for example in this case it's spine 2. If you select it, then when you go into click on the mesh and go into weight paint mode, you'll actually have it selected and you'll be able to hit R and move the bone around to test your weights as you're weight painting it. In this case, it's going to be a really easy weight paint. We're just going to do like a very static attach, like you might with like a toy or something in a SAMP server. You just attach a toy to a bone and it just gets 100% of the bone's weight. There's no fluidity or anything like that. It'll just have 1. So let's see. In this case, it's spine 1 is the bone that we want to use. So let's go into the vertex selection masking section here. And it may also help if we go into solid so that we aren't seeing messy colors. We're seeing very clear, concise colors at each vertex. So what we'll want to do here is we'll want to select our entire guitar, our entire object, by going to Object, maybe Edit Mode, and you could click L on your keyboard, L, to select linked, and you could select by different stuff like material, normal, scene, sharp, UVs. Usually it'll work pretty good and you'll just get like the entire object in one go. So I want to select the entire object. Then I want to go back into weight paint mode, and you'll see that that means I've got every vertex selected now of that object. And I'm going to weight every single vertex of this object 1 on the spine. Right? So now it's parented to the spine bone 100%. So if my spine moves, it's moving in the same direction as it. So you'll see in most extreme cases this will cause an issue, but there's not really many cases where your character model is doing this type of movement. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be fine. So yeah, there's that. Now it's attached. We have our materials in order in Blender. We'll make sure by we'll check our materials again, and let's see, go into edit mode so that we can hit select, and our flying V is fully selected and it has its texture to it. So now what we're gonna do is gonna export this as a DFF to put into our game. So select your mesh and hit Control A, apply location, rotation, scale, rotation, scale. Just apply all those. Make sure all those are applied, and then go to File, Export. Actually, no, sorry, don't do that. Go to GTA in this tab again, and then Export, DFF Export. And we're doing a character, so we'll export it, type character, export, and then save it as, I don't really know, we'll save it as macro.dff, but in a new folder. We'll save it in a new folder, call it macro.dff. Guitar guy, how about that? Okay, so we have our DFF now inside this folder. So what we need to do is we need obviously a TXT to go with this DFF. So we'll just copy the original TXT, and you'll note that materials now we have hands, we have sweet, we have the face texture, we have the Scully texture, and then we have the Flying V texture. So if we check our macro, let me close some of these tabs or windows. So we check some of these. If we check this macro TXT texture, we have hands, face, Scully, sweet, but we don't have the Flying V. So we'll take the Flying V image out of this thing here. We'll export it as a PNG and just save it on our desktop. But you saw that it was already there. That's because when you import the model into Blender, it automatically does this for you. It'll export all the textures. So I didn't really need to do that, but if you did ever need to, that's how you do it. So Flying V, and then we're gonna add it into our macro, and you probably want to compress it. DXT1 will be fine. And then add it in. There you go. And then you hit save, and in our Guitar Guy folder, we have our DFF that we exported out of Blender, and we have our TXT, and it has every material that we have in Blender, so there shouldn't be any issues in game. But we'll see. Let's get this in game and see what happens. Mod loader. I'll just do like bucket A. There we go. Just throw this in here. I think that'll work. I don't really know. It's been a long time. We'll go to this server. Any old server. Damn, dude, it's taking so long. There we go. That's weird. Alright. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, if anybody wants to log in as Zana on this server, you can. The password's fuck you. Have fun. Oh, man. I think I joined the wrong server. Okay, there we go. Alright, cool. make sure that you guys can see this in the video. Give me a second. Should be able to see this. Alright, so as you can see, here's our character model, and it has the object attached to it now. So that's how you do it. You just select the object and then select the mesh for the character, and then you just hit Ctrl J to join them together, and that's it. There you go. Have fun, enjoy. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. Alright, see you.